Dick, you had a couple of points to make before we really get into South Carolina. A couple of things about Nevada you wanted to say.
Yeah, a very important result in Nevada. Hillary, of course, won Nevada, but by a very thin margin. But when you break it down ethnically, you really get a sense of what's going to happen on Super Tuesday. Hillary lost whites by 1 point, lost Hispanics by 7 points, and carried blacks by 3-1. So her margin in Nevada was entirely based on the 13% of the vote that was cast by African Americans. The 19% of the vote cast by Hispanics went narrowly for Sanders, and the 2/3 of the vote cast by whites went narrowly for Sanders. Now, we know that she's going to sweep blacks. And on Super Tuesday, you have a bunch of serious states, mainly Texas, where the Hispanic vote in a Democratic primary will probably approach 50%. They're 32% of Texas's population, and you figure in a Democratic primary they would all be in the primary and might be 40 or 45% of the vote. And if Sanders is able to defeat her among Latinos, then that could be very dangerous for her. There are plenty of congressional districts that are largely Latino, which would be sending Sanders delegates. And while she will win the black vote, that may not be enough. Now, in South Carolina, what I'm going to be looking for on Tuesday when the Democrats have their primary, obviously Hillary is going to win, and obviously she'll win by a lot. But I want to see how South Carolina whites vote, because that'll tell us how Southern whites are going to vote throughout the process, as opposed to the black population, which is 55% of the primary vote in South Carolina. It's not that in any other state. So, well, maybe in Alabama. But this is very significant. I've been holding my breath, waiting to find out if Hillary would win Latinos by a top-heavy margin. And here she not only isn't doing that, she's losing them.
And as you take us through those numbers, we would be remiss if we did not point out that there's been a change still very early in the tabulation in South Carolina. Marco Rubio has now moved into second place with 23%, and Ted Cruz at 18%. Those numbers we'll continue to keep an eye on throughout the night. Speaking of numbers, a guy who keeps track, pollster John Zogby, who joins us by Skype. John, you have heard what Dick Morris had to say about the Democratic results in Nevada. Small wonder that Hillary is already airborne and headed for the Lone Star State of Texas.
Absolutely. Look, this is a candidacy that's in trouble. Now, by default, she can collect superdelegates, collect half the delegates, and along the way, and trip her way into the nomination, but she trips her way into the nomination with a disunified party, an angry left within her party, also some angry millennials, and she needs every single one of millennials to come out and vote for her in November. And so I'm in total disagreement, or total agreement with Dick on that. The fact that Bernie Sanders won among Latinos is certainly, as we played that old game as kids, made you look. That was not expected, and a 6 or 7 point margin, or about that he had among Latinos, that could be very, very significant, very hurtful to the Clinton campaign down the road.
Dick Morris, as we take a look at these South Carolina results on the Republican side of things, obviously we have said for a long time this was Donald Trump's to lose. He has established his lead. What do you make of this back and forth? Rubio initially coming out in second, or now it's just way too
silly
early
to comment with 1% in. I wouldn't. I think that's 2,000 votes, and there'll be 200,000. But I do feel that the inability of Hillary to generate Latino support is big. There are no Latinos or blacks to speak of in Iowa or New Hampshire. So roughly 40% of the Democratic primary vote was not heard from in those states because they don't have residents there who are black or Latino. But from here on out, those two groups will be very important in the election. In Texas, about 12% of the vote is black, and about 32% is Latino. And for a Democratic primary, you probably increase those significantly because they don't vote in the Republican primary. And if she is not going to do well among Hispanics, that really could set up a significant Sanders win. especially if she isn't able to win the white vote. So we need to keep our eye on that, but that's a very important fact for me.
And the eyes of Texas will be upon Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and the Republicans in the weeks to come as we continue with this calendar. We are looking, as you can see, at the very early results coming in from South Carolina. About 1% of the precincts in. Again, Donald Trump in first. Now Marco Rubio in second and Ted Cruz at 3 points back. If there is somewhat of a surprise tonight, it is perhaps this. Jeb Bush early on in double digits in fourth place. And during the course of this primary campaign in South Carolina, the former Florida governor was really tough on his one-time protege, Marco Rubio, especially on the topic of immigration.
I didn't cut and run. I wasn't a sponsor of a bill that he crafted, but for his involvement, it wouldn't have passed the Senate. And then when the going got tough, he abandoned the bill. That was basically the problem. Put aside the issue, the question of why are you there to serve if it's not to forge consensus and solve problems? And he ran away from it.
Why do you think he just can't say?
Between me and him is I don't run away from things. I go right to the challenge.
So as we hear that, it's very interesting, John Zogby, that there is Jeb Bush staying true to his open borders. At least some of us think it's that kind of indulgence on immigration, but saying that he stays the course and that Rubio is a guy who flip-flops. Do you think that in any way has helped Jeb Bush?
No, and more importantly, it didn't hurt Marco Rubio, and that's what's really intriguing. You know, before you get into any issues, any experience, any persona around Jeb Bush, the key thing is the thing that he tried to finesse early on, and that is to not use his last name. This was always going to be about whether or not there had already been one Bush too many in the White House. And I think that's what voters are saying. They said it clearly in Iowa. They said it clearly in New Hampshire. And, you know, fourth place, fifth place, distant third place, he's not doing well, period. And he's got a really tough decision to make. If these numbers hold, and I agree with Dick, this is way too early. What we're seeing here is a demarcation among the top three and the bottom three. There's a gap. And the exit polls at least suggest that gap may continue. And if Bush is number 4, but in the second tier, a distant second tier, there's just not enough for him to continue.
Yeah, I agree with John. I think that the polling I saw predicted Bush would come out at about 10%. And if he does, I think he's gone. Now, you know, he has $15 million in his super PAC, and that would make one hell of a donation to charity. So maybe he will continue until he's spent it all, but it's hard to see any rationale for him continuing.
Well, here's
and
the rationale,
the Bush candidacy denies votes to Rubio, who's kind of the establishment candidate.
But the rationale for Jeb continuing, in addition to the money, is coming home to Florida, where he's got a lot of endorsements, where he has had electoral success.
Yeah,
right?
But you don't get to Florida till you go through Super Tuesday. And if he's got like 20 delegates and the front Trump has 800 and Rubio or Cruz have 500 or 600 each and he's got 50, nobody's going to take him seriously. That was the Rudy Giuliani strategy. Wait till you come to Florida. And he did, and when he came to Florida, he had nothing left.
Well, as you correctly point out, there is a lot more distance and a lot more states between now and the Florida primary. John Zogby, before we say goodbye to you, just 30 seconds, the last word on what we've seen so far and what you're expecting.
What we've seen so far is a battle for second place and then a low second tier of 3 candidates. If Marco Rubio pulls this out, and he may come in second place, not only is it a great revival from a guy who was really down in the dumps after Iowa, but it also positions himself well and positions the state of South Carolina very well. Nikki Haley wanted to project a completely different image for her state than a Donald Trump or a Ted Cruz image, and she may have succeeded in doing that.
Well,
But
we will
Rubio-
see about that. And John Zogby, we do appreciate your insights and analysis. There is more to come on a very busy primary night in the Palmetto state of South Carolina. We'll continue to monitor these results, and our coverage will continue right here on Newsmax TV.